Hi, and welcome to the channel. It's January of 2022, and if you purchase a property in Texas and it's your primary residence, now is the time to sign up and apply for your homestead exemption. The homestead exemption will allow you to pay less in taxes. So the first thing you need to do is to get the form. You can do this online or you can do it on a hard copy. Either way, you're going to have to go to your county tax assessor's website. So if you just search your county Homestead Exemption, it should bring you to that link. And we're going to go there now.
So here we are. We're going to search for Tarrant County Homestead Exemption. So the first one that comes up is Homestead Exemption, Tarrant Appraisal District. So it brings us right to this site talking about the homestead exemptions for Tarrant County. Whatever your county is, it will be something similar. You might have to look for it up in the tabs up here. You might have to look for forms and go to forms and find the applicable form, which is a homestead exemption. Up here is a warning. Usually this is about not having to pay anyone to do your exemption. Exemptions are really easy to do. It's like 5 check boxes and your information on there, and you can fill it out online or send it in, and you don't need to pay anybody to take care of it for you. So what is a homestead exemption? It just removes a portion of your value from your property, so you're not taxed on that portion that's removed. So you have basically a lower tax bill. It does need to be your primary residence and less than 20 acres. What you'll need is a copy of your driver's license. It needs to have your name on it, and it needs to have the address of your property that you're taking the exemption on. If you have not updated your driver's license yet to match your current address, make sure you get that done before you go ahead and do this. If you're doing it online, you need to log in. Some will allow you to do it online. Most don't. Most you just print it out and send it in. Here's a few of the types of different exemptions you can take for homestead. The general, which is most of everybody. You have your age 65 or older, surviving spouse. I think that cuts your taxes in half or less. Disabled person, 100% disabled veteran, donated residence of partially disabled veteran, surviving spouse of armed service member killed in the line of duty, and surviving spouse of a first responder killed while on duty. So you can take exemptions for any of those examples. All right, so now actually doing the homestead exemption. If you want to do it online and you have that option, you can do it here. Just make sure you have a copy of your driver's license uploaded and ready to go, or have a copy of your driver's license digitized and ready to go to upload it there, or you can download it here. So I'm just going to download it. So I've got it downloaded here, and there's a few boxes up here. You don't need to worry about any of those. The first thing you need to do is put your name, additional owner, if applicable, street address, city, and state. Over here, anything with 2 asterisks is optional. So they do want your date of birth over here. If you want to put your phone number or your email address, you can, but you don't need to. This checkbox is to request a change in the above mailing address. So if you don't want to receive mail from the tax assessor to this address, you would check this box and put in another address. Down here, legal description, you do not need to put it. It's got 2 asterisks, or you can put the street address. Same thing with deed and filing information, has 2 asterisks. You don't need to put that as well. If you own a manufactured home, you'll need to have the make, model, and ID number on there. There's a plate on the outside of the home that has these things, and it also should be recorded in the deed. So you can look in either of those two places to find that information there. Marital status, if you're married, single, or separate, go ahead and put that in there. And under step 3, state the tax year which you are applying for this exemption. So if it's 2022, you bought in 2021, you're making your application for 2022. Do you live and own in the property which you are seeking the residence exemption? Yes. If not, you don't need to continue because you won't get it. So yes. And then your move-in date, when did you move in? Sometime in 2021. Are you claiming homestead exemption on another property? If you're from Texas, most likely yes. Put in the property address, and then when this goes through, they'll take the exemption off that property and put it on the new one. And do you own other residential property in Texas? Yes or no? And they want to know where those are. If you're moving from another county, they want information from the other appraisal district sent to them with this application. So you can do that. I know people who have not done that and had 2 exemptions in 2 different counties. Eventually that caught up with them. I don't believe they had to pay anything back, but it was removed from their old address. Heir property. So if you're receiving this because somebody died, it was deeded to you upon their death. You have to provide documentation of that if that's the case. If not, press no. Is this application for an heir property? No. And you don't have to put anything there because that doesn't apply. Co-op housing. Is it a co-op housing? Yes or no? Most likely no. If it is, you need the name of the co-op. So maybe it's a condo or something. Or association, condo association. Is there any portion of the property for which you are claiming residence homestead exemption income producing? So do you run a business out of it, or do you do any farming off of it? Yes or no. And then the percent that produces income. So if you go over a certain percent, I think 50, but if you go over a certain percent, you won't be able to take the exemption. Same thing with acres. If you go over 20 acres, you can't take the exemption. So put your acreage in there as well. And then down here are the choices for identification. So you're the active duty and you have some exemption, or you hold a driver's license, or you're a resident of a facility that provides health and affirmative aging, or you're certified participation in confidentiality witness protection through Texas. So most of you guys will hold a driver's license. Step 4, the types of exemptions that you can take. Most everybody will take the general residence homestead. If you're age 65 or older, you'll take that one. You can take the disabled person, the 100% disabled veteran, surviving spouse of a disabled veteran, over 55 surviving spouse who received the 65 or over disabled veteran, donated residence, surviving spouse of armed forces, surviving spouse of first responder. So those are all the types of exemptions you can take. So if you're just taking the general exemption, and just click on the tax limitation and then address of your last residence homestead. And then down here, sign and date, that just says you're telling the truth. Make sure you're not lying on anything. And that's it. Down here are just the directions for each little section. If if you want to go over that and look at that. If you have any questions, you can call the number. Usually there's a number or hotline you can call, and they can give you directions on how to fill out the form as well.
So once you're done filling out the form, you'll need to send it in with a copy of your driver's license with that same address on it. If you haven't renewed your driver's license, make sure you get that done before you start this process. But after that, that's it. You're done. It'll renew every year afterwards as long as you live at the same address. Thanks for watching. If you have any tips or tricks to get this done in your area, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. If you've got any value from this, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next one.